Hello everybody, it is I, Cool, back again, and today I'm going to be reviewing Mater. First appearing in the first Cars movie nearly 20 years ago now, which is really crazy. I've had Mater, my normal Mater, since around 2014, if the base is correct. Yeah, around 2014, 2015. You know, Mater's original diecast is just so iconic to me. Like, when I think of Cars, Mater's like one of the first ones I think of. Because, Mater's an iconic character. I have so many variants of Mater, some of which are absolutely some of my most favorite diecasts in my collection. But also, I just think he's a really good model. Now, I know he's not really accurate to the movie. There are some things that could be different, but, Mater's just iconic. I honestly kind of prefer this old original style to the updated one on diecast like the Precision Series Mater and following that Lightning and 95 Hat Mater, who is coming back this year. So I'm really hoping he does keep the updated mold. I'm not sure if I'd buy him otherwise because I think 95 Hat Mater is my favorite version of that updated Mater design. I actually have two Maters out here. This is my original childhood one, and this is one I got in a lot recently. They're actually different. All right, so for context, back in 2006, Mater had a very different design to what he has now. He had raised eyelids. He had yellow sclera to, I guess, make him look more, dirty and unhealthy because he's supposed to be a rusty car that lives out in the desert. So his eyes being kind of yellowed was meant to signify that he's not exactly drinking enough water. Yeah, so in 2010, they started updating more of the Maters to have a more traditional, eye color. And also, around this time, the Mater's back halves became plastic. As you can see here, there's a divide between this and this piece. This didn't carry over for some Maters, namely Brand New Mater. He is the exact same as his original 2007 release. So yeah, Mater's gone through a bit of a change. One of the more interesting changes I want to bring up is the engine. Sorry, my brightness went up a little bit there. So, as you can see there, Mater has this detailed engine where it's sort of dirtied on the top, but it's this nice orange color, which makes sense because without a hood, this part would get really dirty. This is a later version of Mater, though. As you can see, the base here says 6 at the end instead of 4. So this is like a 2016 Mater. But he doesn't have the dirt detailing that the modern, or I guess not modern, but you know what I mean. These Maters came out roughly a similar time, but one has a detailed engine and the other doesn't. I noticed this with some other Mater variants I own from this year. Like if I just pull out Mater without tires here, then yeah, the engine is also undetailed. So it was probably a cost-cutting measure. Luckily, Thailand and now China are making sure to include this more detailed engine as opposed to this blank colored engine, which I much prefer because this just looks way better than this. All right, moving aside, let's cover Mater. Actually, I guess I'll use this one since this is a little more, I guess, fresh, like not as damaged. So gives you a better idea of what Mater's supposed to look like. So over here is the, eyes. There's his teeth, his iconic teeth. I think a large part of why I don't like the Precision Series Mater is because it's missing this sort of slant of the windshield here. It's just way too flat and round. Okay, to illustrate, it's kind of more like looking at a cylinder, whereas this looks more like a slant, just like a nice slant piece. It's just, and the windshield was just way too big, so it just didn't look like Mater to me. It just looked way too detailed. Tow Mater, towing and salvage. Got the door handle here. Over here is where you would fill up the car with gas. The iconic mismatched tires here. Got the A113 license plate, which is super iconic. All right, let's go back to my original Mater now. Yeah, I loved Mater as a kid. You can tell because of how damaged he is. I actually had another Mater, but I tried turning that into a brand new Mater without the hood. But yeah, it didn't go too well. I kind of regret it, but it's just Mater. You know, he's a common enough diecast. Even if you're going for specifically like this version with the engine detailing, I don't think he's that rare. Because I vividly remember getting Mater as a single at like CVS alongside Vladimir Trunkov of all characters. Here's his wheel there. A113 license plate again. And one more look at the base between the two. Yeah, so they're pretty much identical in every other way except for the engine and the slightly brighter colors on this one. Again, I would just assume that's because this one is my childhood one and this is one I got just in a lot like a while ago. So, you know, they're not super different. They're pretty identical. I'm still keeping my childhood Mater. I just prefer how this one looks, even if he is, a bit damaged in some places. But hey, he came by each one of them with his best friend, Lightning McQueen. Yeah, so that's all I have to really say about Mater. It was really fun sort of looking at like a slightly different version of a diecast I already own. And also, it's nice to review just a regular Cars 1 diecast in 2026. I don't think I have any like OG 2006 diecasts, but I do have a lot of the diecasts like later versions like Doc, Sally. I think I'm only really missing like of the original 2006 line, the tuners, some of the Ramon variants. Dinoco McQueen's a pretty big one. Rolling Bull Mater, obviously, because that one's like stupid rare, but also not stupid because, he was exclusive to some really strange places. So yeah, overall, just Mater is a good diecast. I think it honestly really holds up to this day. I think I prefer this version of Mater to the Precision Series one. Again, I'm gonna have to check if I get any of the Precision Series adjacent Maters, if that claim still holds up. But from what I've seen, like this just feels more Mater to me, if that makes sense. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Hope you all enjoyed the review, and I shall see you all around. Bye bye.